When people want to make money, they say Feng Shui, water is supposed to bring wealth, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it. What water brings is...
All right, so we talked to you earlier, Dato, about how, it's really important to find a nice environment.
That's
and
true.
I know you said color didn't really make much of a difference.
But well, it makes a difference on you.
It makes a difference on me.
Right,
That's right. That's very important. And I really want to talk about the environment because we're here at Impression City in Melaka. And the Dawn is a place that I'm eyeing on in terms of investment. So, you want to check it out?
Let's do that.
Okay. And look at this. 138 acres of Impression City.
Wow, this is like a city within a city.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And this is going to be happening up until I think 10 years.
10 years? And you're going to choose a home right here?
Oh, that's right. The Dawn right there.
Okay. Tell me about it.
Well, we have the streets in Melaka, which
Okay.
is it was the busiest street at some point during the Silk Road.
That's true. And everything is cyclical. So at some point it peaked.
Yeah.
And then in the last 50, 60 years, it went down. But I believe the cycle is coming back.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
I mean, when you see stuff like this, they're also going to have the first of its kind a berthing dock that can...
This one?
Yes, that can cater to cruises, and it's attached to a shopping mall. So
I like this.
the influx of people coming in and out, I believe, is that considered qi?
In Feng Shui, we have this principle called the qi mouth.
Okay.
Or the mouth of energy. This is where it's like the source, it's the power source to a place. So in a natural environment, this will be the riverbanks, the exit of the river, or the entrance of the river. So of course, in this formation, obviously you have an entrance here. And if you look back at all the prosperous locations, Singapore, for example, or Hong Kong, it's always where the chi mouth is. And I'm glad that you guys have one right here, next to your home.
Yeah, let's go check out my home.
Right.
You can see my home, beautiful right here.
Nice. I like the fact that it's bringing the energy all the way into this area.
Yeah.
Because normally if this is too far away from the water, it takes time before the energy is felt.
Right.
And so if there is an access for the water to flow all the way in, at least this part gets the energy faster. Because it takes time.
Interesting. And if we're standing here and you can see the buildings slowly get lower and lower, so you have a nice view of the sea. How does that affect the energy?
The thing is, now I checked out a few things. This direction is towards the southwest, and this direction is the northeast. So remember I told you about the time cycle?
Yes.
Okay. The prosperous time period all the way to 2043 is like you need the yin features at the northeast quadrant. In that cycle. Okay, so this area is all the northeast area is higher and the southwest is actually lower. That's a good sign. And from this looking outwards, we always want the exit of water or the entrance of water to be locked. Lock means it's not running away. So we say 锁水喉, alright? So we lock the water so it doesn't go out of the access. So actually 锁水喉 means locking the water mouth.
Right.
So we have two buildings right there.
Yes.
So if you look from this side out, you cannot see the exit. So when you cannot see the exit now, of course, when this is actually in a real life situation, it will be a bit different. But from here, at least we could see, because you've got a bird's eye view, that the exit is not leaking. So if you see a leaking, it's when you don't have the green dragon and white tiger.
Right.
So a green dragon and white tiger is when the mountains interlock. Now hills must interlock. When they interlock, so the water goes like this out.
Yes.
So when you're inside looking out, you cannot see its exit. It's like the water saying they want to go and they don't want to go. So it's like very sentimental.
Yeah.
Okay. So when water is sentimental, means the energy is staying. So when you look from this direction, at least we could see there's a creation of this where the water, you can't see the exit. So we call this sentimental water. Okay. If it's straight out,
so it's not stagnant.
if it's straight, it's called merciless water.
Oh, interesting.
Right? So if it's merciless, then the whole area, the energy will leak.
So when we talk about water, I also noticed this canal.
Meandering.
Meandering.
Meandering water is one of the favorable type of formations. You get that in Singapore. Right. You can see the river, the curvature of the river.
The canals throughout the city.
Yes. So you see prosperous cities where it's Saigon, for example, now it's booming as well.
Yes.
So you see all those water that's curved. You don't see a straight moving water. Straight moving water, people are merciless as well.
Oh, I see. So there's sentimental water.
Sentimental and merciless water. Two types of water.
And meandering is?
Meandering is sentimental.
Is also sentimental.
Right.
I see.
So you see, at this point, we're not talking about a direction of water because water also flows in a certain direction. So the fact that you could be in different areas tapping into the direction of the water means
Yeah.
that you get different qualities of that energy.
Right.
So it's like this. When people want to make money, they say Feng Shui is water is supposed to bring wealth, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it. What water brings is yang energy.
Yeah.
And when yang energy basically means ability to create.
Yes.
Now, business is creation. You create a solution, right? You create a product, you
Yeah.
create a service.
Yeah.
So when there's yang energy,
Yeah.
people get energized, they get
Yeah.
excited, they
Yeah.
will do things,
Yeah.
right? Suppose there's no yang energy, what will happen? Then people will feel dull, they're pessimistic, they see problems all the time. You get complainers,
Yeah.
okay? There are a lot of people who just know how to complain. They see a problem, they complain. That's not good, right?
That sounds like me.
But you need to move in here quickly.
Yeah, I
you know?
need to move in.
So then you get some yang energy. You
Yeah.
see, your life changes when you come up with ideas and solutions. Okay, that's why they use feng shui. So for the lay person, they say, water means wealth. It doesn't
Yeah.
mean that water means the ability to create.
Well, I think one of the things about this Impression City is that there's so many different types of buildings here that support different things. So we've
Yeah.
got the theater, they're also going to have a convention center. How are all of these elements, how do they integrate to a
thea-
city in terms of energy as well?
Well, I think you have a couple of things. When we talk about feng shui, a square piece of plot is always good for feng shui practitioners. The reason is we don't have missing corners.
Right, it's just easier to-
It's
right,
easier
okay.
to manage, right? It's like you give us the best quality cloth, we could make good clothing with it.
That's
If you have an odd-shaped piece of land, you have missing this, missing that. We gotta pull in stuff from different directions just to enhance what's missing. So we
Right.
generally like it squarish because it also represents stability. So you talked about art center, then you have your
Convention center, the
convention
theater,
center.
yeah.
I love convention. I do big events, 12,000 people, right? So this
We'll
would
have
be
to let
great.
the boss know.
Well, let's let the boss know. But that you have hospitals in this area. So the
Yeah.
thing is, when all these are positioned in an area that fits the energy,
Yeah.
it will become prosperous. So it's all about alignment. It's like if I have this frequency, but I match it with something else, then it's a misalignment of energy. It's incompatible.
Right.
Nowadays we understand what is incompatibility.
Yes.
What makes something compatible is you have the correct type of energy, the vibrational flow, and you have the right function in there. Then you sort of boost that whatever purpose that building is built for. For example, a hospital that is built in an area that facilitates healing. Right, so you get good results.
Yeah.
If you get good results, it'll be a popular medical center. Likewise, an academic place or an art center that is located in a academic style, for example, will promote the function that is built to be used for, right? And that's how you get good outcome. That's how feng shui works, by the way. You match the energy to the function of the building.
Well, I mean, there's so many different functions. We've got assisted living.
All right. What is that?
So it's a new concept where it's almost for retirees, but they get to live in a more independent style of living.
Right.
And yet will also have the same functions as, I think they've got special high-tech bracelets
Nice.
and things like that.
Really, high-tech bracelets.
Yes.
Okay, that's something very interesting.
Yeah, so
Okay.
and I know that they plan to have schools and things like that. So I think these things are very much important. There's also going to be an iconic building
I see
right
that, yeah.
in the center. I would love
Right.
to hear your thoughts on this.
Well, yeah, obviously it accesses the water. In feng shui, basically we want back mountain,
Yeah.
face the water.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have that feature, right? You have the higher hills here,
Yeah.
and then you have the water feature in front. So at least you fit two basic criteria of feng
Right.
shui. But of course, for individuals, you gotta have the alignment to whichever direction that suits your purpose in there.
Do you consider these as mountains, so to speak?
In a
Like
flat land,
yeah.
yes. You asked a very good question. There are three types of landforms.
Okay.
We have high-level dragons. A high-level dragon is like the Swiss Alps. Swiss Alps that's really tall,
Yes.
right, a couple of thousand meters high, correct? Then we have mid-level dragons. Mid-level dragons is similar to the hills in Pahang, for example, where Genting Highlands is.
Yes.
Those are called mid-level dragons.
Yeah.
And this formation, which is relatively flat, it's called flatland dragon. So, 高江龍、平江龍、平陽龍. This is called 平陽龍.
Right.
Right? Flatland dragon. So, in flatland dragon, water is king. That's the principle. So we pay more attention to the water. So every building here, as long as it has access to water, it has the source of the flatland dragon's meridian energy.
Right.
So in the hill formation like Pahang or Genting hills,
Yeah.
right, we don't see the water.
That's
we,
right.
We look at hilltops.
Right.
Okay, so there are different purpose. So you cannot use the same feng shui formula for different piece of land. Okay, this is called flatland dragon. Therefore, access to water is king.
And I think what's great is because if you can really see everyone, all these buildings all have access to that water, so it's all
Generally
just
they do.
focused on
Generally
it.
do
Yeah.
this. Now it's positioning the entrance, which obviously comes at a later stage.
Right. I know that there's DIY areas because
What's a DIY area?
so Melaka has a huge cultural history, cultural background, and they're thinking of putting in things like from Royal Selangor, where you get to create, you get to understand the
okay.
textiles.
Nice.
This is a very interesting approach to the cultural aspect of this township.
Plenty of room to use Feng Shui then, because you could basically design whatever direction and wherever access you want, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, I think when we talked about water, you talked about how the sentimental water and things like that, and it's the energy. What are the other energy points that we can kind of take away from
Directions. Okay, if you have your direction obstructed,
Yeah.
that's no access. It's like basically you're in the deep basement, you cannot have access to Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Okay, so in an area that is spacious and you have access to nature, it's easier to access what we call Feng Shui energy or vibrational energy. Now, sometimes you use the word Feng Shui, people are like, oh, Feng Shui is gonna be some ornaments you put in the house.
Right, yeah.
Right? Because that's the perception that people have. It's not. Feng Shui is just a term to describe the art of connecting to Mother Nature. Okay, so if you have a spacious area like this, is obviously better access than have a crowded space that you cannot have access at all.
I also wanted to say, as you can see, a lot of the residential areas are sort of speckled towards the back, and a lot of the business is happening in the.
I would do that.
Yeah.
Nice.
So what are some of the positive aspects of having this, and even for other businesses?
Well, usually access to water is the effects of Feng Shui, or at least the positivity, is faster. Okay, effects of mountain takes time. Water is always fast. So if you are closer to water, it's easier to orientate towards the water direction, and that gives you access to energy. You get the benefits faster. So sometimes Feng Shui takes a couple of years before it works, because it changes the personality of a person.
Oh, interesting.
So, but with water is external, so the circumstances change. So we have to ask ourselves this: do we want to change our circumstances, or do you want to change personality? If you want to change personality, look for mountain or hill formations. Over time, your character and personality will change. But if you're like, no, I'm perfect, right? So just change the environment, change the circumstances, then use water. So a lot of people, when it comes to Feng Shui, especially in Hong Kong, the technique to use is water, because they don't want to change themselves.
Right.
So they want to change water. So it depends on which is your perspective.
So, I think it depends if you want to change yourself or not.
Sure.
But I think you highlighting the business makes me a little bit excited, because I'm really thinking about investment. I've got a ton of ideas and I've got a ton of questions. And so make sure you don't miss out on the next episode, where I ask him a lot more questions about business and investment.
Most people, 90%, 95% of the people will say they want to shrink down, they want to cut sizes. And if we could accumulate the resources that we need, this could be the time that you could build your empire, build your legacy. It gives you a chance to move from struggling to survive. Get to a place where there's Feng Shui for education. Change that energy and the outcome will change.